is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy D Dyson, and I wanted to review Waco, a limited series on Showtime. It came out probably during the pandemic, like last year, and didn't quite pay attention to it. But now that the aftermath is coming out next month, I was like, let me go and watch this phenomenal limited series with Michael Shannon as playing Greg, the FBI agent who was sent in to do negotiations as part of the FBI's negotiation unit. He was like the head, and forget his name, Taylor Kitsish or Keish as DavidKoresh. Everyone knows him as John Carter, if you know who John Carter is, or Gambit in X-Men. I think he's a phenomenal actor. He did such a phenomenal job playing DavidKoresh in Waco. And just seeing how this all transpired, where as a kid, I remember about Waco, Texas. It was just one of those things like OJ, you knew about Waco because it was all over the news. Like people couldn't stop talking about it, but I didn't know what was really going on as a kid. And now that we're really exploring what really went on, it was like a 51-day standoff between the ATF, the government, and the branch Davidians. And as DavidKoresh was this charismatic character he was basically the Messiah, the second coming of Jesus, and how he had this cult per se of followers where, because he could interpret the Bible so well and he interpreted the 7 seals so well, people followed him like, hey, maybe you are. And that just brought about a devout following of people that he had. He had about probably almost 100 people living in this compound. Huge compound in the middle of Texas, Waco, Texas. And to get on the ATF's radar, they briefly explained it, why he got on the radar of the ATF. He already is a convicted felon, but the fact that they were saying about the packages that he was getting coming to that compound, and something fell out, which was like grenades, and that led to the U.S. Post Office like, hey, you know, they got guns here. So he was kind of on their radar as far as ATF, like he may be housing guns. They kind of start tracking down all the guns that he had. He had about 1.6 million ammunition rounds. He had a whole bunch of illegal machine guns. So the ATF was sent after him and then started uncovering so many different things. He had a wife and had a kid with this girl when I was 14, and how he had about the way he did things was no man or no husband can sleep with the wives, only he could sleep with all the women. And they had reports of child abuse and sexual child abuse as well with kids. And I was kind of like, yeah, this dude is basically a monster. And it's like he was basically one of those domestic terrorists, but he wasn't bothering anyone, you know, but he was prepared for a war because I just want to see where his training comes from, and coming to this, he's prepared for a religious war, race war. He was just prepared for it. And I love how this starts off with Michael Shannon, and Mitch is basically the arms part of like any type of assault. Mitch runs it, and any type of negotiation, Greg runs it, and how they always clash. Where I like to see this pay attention to now, because now you don't have any hostage negotiations. Government comes in, they putting you down. That's just what it is. So it was trying to see how the government was responding to domestic threats, and versus how they do now, because there's so many mass shootings now. They just come in, they come in and knock you down. If you don't come out with surrender, they come in and knock you down. And that's why I was like, this is, I believe, the last time that we really had a hostage negotiation situation because of Waco. The laws changed, and it was so sad because, like I said, at the end result of the house burning and everyone trapped inside, basically, it was utterly horrific. I was just so leading up to seeing what was going to happen. And then when it finally happened, it reduced me to tears. And I was like, man, that's, you know, even when they were like, we give up, I give up. And it's like, man, my kid's not breathing. And I was like, man, But you had every instance of getting out because they thought they were going to go to jail for a very long time. And as Dave Thibodeau was the only one that got out, basically, you know, you had others that got out, but it was like the last one was like, I'm done. And he only did like 2 weeks in jail and was like, yeah, it wasn't nothing, you know, it wasn't nothing. But it was just sad to see how all this portrayed out. But I'm so here for it, and I'm here for the aftermath because it spawned the Timothy McVeigh Oklahoma bombing, which I feel like if you were late 80s, early 90s, you knew about Timothy McVeigh because that was on the news as well as OJ. That it's just we really were dealing with domestic terrorists, which we have now. And it was just like the spawn of people that was so against the government because of these things, because you got state law and then versus federal law, people were really upset about it. So yeah, I cannot wait for the aftermath of Waco because it transpired into how the government changed their laws where we really don't have any hostage negotiations for domestic terrorists at all. It's just either you surrender or we're coming to get you. And I think that it's because of Waco that all changed. Man, you need to check this out. 6 episodes, and I was hooked from start to finish. So, you guys enjoyed my review of Waco on Showtime. Subscribe to my channel. Post a comment down below and like the video. It's your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.